Welcome to this explainer on VMware to physical migration. Look, if you're a C-suite executive or an IT director gearing up to migrate your systems from VMware Cloud Foundation to a physical infrastructure, you are staring down a massive financial risk. And no, I'm actually not talking about your hardware costs or software licensing. The single biggest hidden threat to your entire transformation budget is failing to align your team's training perfectly to your new target stack and to their specific roles. So today, we're going to break down exactly why nailing this training alignment is the ultimate budget saver. To do that, we'll be covering 6 strategic steps. We'll start with the misaligned training trap, move into mapping your skills gap, locking in the target stack, gating the pre-migration plan, training under fire, and finally securing that post-migration ROI. All right, let's dive right into section 1, the misaligned training trap. Procuring training blindly is hands down the single biggest threat to your transformation budget. It's incredibly common for leaders to sense a knowledge gap on their team and just immediately start throwing money at generic training catalogs. But as the source material makes crystal clear, misaligned training is wasted budget. We really need to establish the financial stakes right out of the gate here. Training isn't just some standard IT or HR checklist item. It is a critical financial gate. When you're moving from a highly abstracted environment like VMware VCF back down to bare metal, the technical requirements fundamentally shift. If you pay for training before you actually know what your engineers need to execute, you are literally burning cash. Let's contrast these two approaches. On one side, we have misaligned training. This is your premature generic coursework that drains your budget and, honestly worse, creates what's known as false confidence. Your team might have the certificates, sure, but they don't actually know how to run your specific new environment. On the flip side is aligned training. This is milestone-driven, highly role-based, and it fundamentally builds true operational confidence. It ensures every single dollar spent directly translates to a smoother, safer migration. Moving right along to Section 2, Mapping Your Skills Gap. Now that we understand the very real financial stakes, we've got to build a structured foundation before spending a single dollar on vendor courses. You can't train what you haven't measured, right? What's really interesting about this 3-step skills inventory is how it lets you analytically pinpoint exactly where your budget needs to go and, crucially, where it doesn't. First, you assess the current state. Survey your staff on their proficiency with VCF components like vSphere and NSXT. Second, map it to the target state. Where are the gaps in bare metal OS administration or physical networking? And third, categorize by role. A storage admin does not need the same training as a network engineer. This precision right here is what saves you from buying those massive all-you-can-eat training subscriptions that basically go unused. Which brings us to Section 3, locking in the target stack. Let's see how this builds into confirming your target infrastructure stack, because ambiguity at this stage burns cash faster than almost anything else. Procuring training before confirming your specific technology stack is a huge risk. Every specific choice you make demands a completely distinct, vendor-specific training path. Are you moving to Proxmox, Hyper-V, or KVM? What about your networking vendor? Cisco, Aruba, and Juniper all have entirely different certification tracks and lab requirements. And for storage, Pure Storage operates totally differently than NetApp. You absolutely must lock in your specific architecture decisions first. Document the full target stack before you buy a single course. Once that stack is locked in, you build a role-based training matrix, and this brilliantly illustrates the exact alignment required. Look at how specific this gets. Systems admins focus purely on bare metal and hypervisors. Network engineers are homing in on physical switching, routing, VLANs, and BGP to replace NSXT. Storage admins are getting into the weeds with SAN and NAS administration. This matrix ensures every single training dollar directly builds capability for the very specific requirements of your new stack. All right, on to Section 4, gating the pre-migration plan. So with your matrix built and your targets identified, we shift to governance and managing the timeline of the actual migration project itself. The golden rule here is that a training plan without milestones is just a wish list. To truly protect your budget, you have to tie training completion directly to your migration project plan using phase gates. Establish a RACI matrix. Define exactly who assigns the training, who delivers it, and who tracks completion. Ambiguity here kills momentum. If a manager hasn't signed off on the prerequisite training, that migration phase simply does not begin. Period. No exceptions. To show you how fast this can actually move, let's walk through a rapid 30-day action plan for IT directors. Week 1, you launch that skills inventory. Week 2, you lock in and confirm that target infrastructure stack. Week 3, you build your role-based matrix and submit a formal budget. And by week 4, you identify your migration champions and enroll them in the very first training cohort. Their success basically becomes your proof of concept. As you can tell, establishing this alignment doesn't have to drag on for months. It happens systematically, and it happens fast. Next up, Section 5, Training Under Fire. Let's transition to the mid-migration execution. This is where the rubber meets the road, and where technical performance is completely inseparable from team resilience. Tactical execution during the actual cutover window is intense. Leaders have to actively manage the human layer here. It's vital to have an active war room knowledge hub that is accessible to all shift engineers. But beyond the technical stuff, you have to monitor your staff for skill anxiety and fatigue before it spirals into a project risk. The most successful migrations actually reframe mistakes made during this window as supervised learning events, rather than performance failures. Reinforcing this repeatedly keeps your team engaged and resilient under sustained stress. Now check out this mandatory incident response loop. Post-incident debriefs are actually the most effective training events of the entire project. When an incident occurs, you follow a structured response. The team resolves it using predefined runbooks. But step 3 is the absolute magic, a mandatory 15-minute debrief to document the root cause. Finally, step 4, those lessons are fed back into the runbooks immediately. This rapid feedback loop literally turns migration downtime into a budget-saving training event that prevents future outages. Finally, Section 6, the post-migration ROI. We absolutely have to tackle the biggest myth in infrastructure transformation. This is an error that occurs right after the migration is deemed complete. It is known as the false victory. This is when an organization declares success right at cutover and immediately cuts off the training budget. So what happens? Well, your staff only has surface-level familiarity. They can operate day-to-day, sure, but they lack the depth for complex fault scenarios or performance optimization. By stopping training, you destroy your initial investment and allow those knowledge gaps to calcify into severe, incredibly expensive operational risks. Actually, scratch that. Post-migration isn't just about avoiding risk. It's your highest ROI phase for training. Your staff is motivated, the context is completely fresh, and the gaps are incredibly visible. To maximize this, you need formal knowledge management systems. Establish living runbooks with named owners. An undated runbook is a massive liability. Create a searchable internal wiki. You should also integrate training into performance reviews so it's seen as mandatory. And definitely don't forget to leverage those vendor training credits you negotiated during procurement so you aren't paying retail for post-migration deep dives. Institutional knowledge cannot just live in your engineers' heads. So as you plan your exit from VMware Cloud Foundation and we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this final thought. Take a really close look at how you are spending your IT dollars right now. Is your training budget precisely aligned to build long-term operational resilience, or are you just blindly funding a false victory? The choice you make before you buy your very first course will determine the financial success of your entire migration. Thanks for watching.